Hello, everyone. Blessings to you, blessings to your family. I hope you are good. I hope you are well. And it is indeed good to be back. I say to be back because if you have noticed, I was out for a little bit and I must apologize for that. But I was not feeling well. I was very sick, and for that reason, I could not produce the usual content that I usually do. So big apologies for that, but I am back. I am in good spirits, and we are ready to get this road on the to get this wheels turning, get the show on the road. That is what I was trying to say. With a reaction for Arsenal versus Burnley, which is a game that I was unfortunately unable to do preview for because, as I said, I was not feeling very well. But it was a good game for us. Good in the sense that it was a very professional performance. We went through the game without any hassle, any scare. If you're a real Arsenal fan, you know how this team play. You would not be scared one bit throughout that match. And we did good, and we finished off with a 3-1 score to Arsenal, thankfully. So let's talk about a few things that happened in the match. Let's talk about the tactical, how the match played out tactically, and some key moments in the match. We can start with that. Tactically, Burnley, which was a bit surprising to me, they sat back a bit in the match, which I say surprising because Burnley has not been playing like that. They have been playing on the front foot, trying to play open, expansive football. Remember, mind you, Company is the coach of this team, and Company is coming from the Pep Guardiola school. And you know that in the Pep Guardiola school, it's all about playing wide, expansive football. But they showed us a lot of respect, and if we were listening carefully, we would have probably gotten that from Company, because he had high praise for Arsenal before the game, and he said Arsenal was a very good side. And so he came into low block, and we had to break them down. Now, when teams set up like Arsenal, set up against Arsenal like this, as I said before, I have no worries at all, and I am confident that we will break them down, and that's how it played out in totality. On our side, we were playing our normal wide, expansive football. Zinchenko was playing in the left back position, or midfield, if you want to call it that. We know how Zinchenko play, and once that is the case, we will take charge of that midfield, and we will overpower and dominate the opponent, and that is exactly what happened. Some key players in the match was the very person that I spoke about just now. Zinchenko played very good. Tommy also played very good. Trossard also played very good, and he was probably my man of the match. Not because I like him so much, you know what I think about Trossard, but overall he was just played very well. His link-up play was very good. And this brings you to the question, why doesn't Arteta play him more when Jesus is out? I know he loves Eddie, but sometimes we want that creativity. We want that finesse that Trossard brings. And we could see why he is so good, why he's so good on the ball. And I think sometimes Arteta can put him in even more instead of putting in Eddie when Eddie's not doing the job against other teams. So those were some key players that I thought stood out. Declan Rice, as usual, that he's not going below a 7, and he was his normal self in that regard. He was playing well throughout. Jorginho did not have a bad game either. We have to be utilizing Jorginho because, as you know, Thomas Partey is still injured. So is Jesus, and we had some doubts about Saka. Odegaard was injured as well. So the injury list is getting a bit long, and that's why the international break coming up this week might be a good thing for us in that regard. Hopefully we can get everyone back, because the fixtures are coming in thick and fast, and so we want our players to be ready when we get back for both the Champions League and the English Premier League in that regard. So let's talk about a little bit about VAR. We have to do VAR watch ever since, especially since what happened against Newcastle. We have them under a microscope, and we'll be watching everything they do, especially against our beautiful club, Arsenal. But overall, there was a point where the boys called for a foul against Tommy when they scored the goal. We went 1-0 up, of course, and then Burnley came back and pulled it back to 1-1. And in Tommy's goal, there was a call for a foul, and of course they looked at it on VAR. The VAR gave the goal. Of course, I didn't ever think we were going to get it, but I think it was the right decision in this case. VAR was right. I didn't think it was a foul. It was a perfectly good goal. In another instant, we had a red card in the match. Fabio came on and he got a red card. I also think that was a good decision. The only thing that was recognizable was how quick he was ready to give that red card to Fabio. And the referee was Michael Oliver, who it is widely said that he's one of the best referees in the world. But you can forgive me for thinking at this point I do not trust any of these referees. To take charge of the match and do so in an unbiased way. But overall, VAR was okay, in my opinion. I think VAR was okay. I didn't see any call that they got that was way off in terms of the Arsenal versus Burnley game. I am reluctant to say they were excellent, even though they might be, and you could forgive me for not readily praising them just because they've been so terrible, and we are very hesitant to give them the praise because we know that around the corner they might do something that is totally opposite to what they did this week. So that is what happened in regards to VAR, and I think most of the decisions, if not all, were correct in this game. In regards to the fans, let's talk about the fans real quick. The fans, I think the Emirates Stadium was flat, and Zinchenko, you could see him constantly trying to rile up the crowd and get them going. What I must say about this is something that I want to not happen at the Emirates, and I realize it over some games. For the big games, the fans, they are up for it and they get going. But you know what? I said before in regards to the fans, the energy that they bring is invaluable. The team needs this. The team needs energy, and it doesn't matter that it's Burnley, a weaker team if we're talking about the Premier League, even though we say the Premier League is highly competitive. But in comparison to other teams that we have to play, top six, for example, Burnley is on the weaker side of that. But I think when we play these games all around, we should be onto it in terms of the fans. And as I said, the fans have a part to play. This is our club, and all the subsets come together to give Arsenal that is operating and firing on all cylinders. But I think the fans were flat, and that is something that we need. Listen, Arsenal, if you need me, you can send me an email. I can bring the vibes in that place. We need to probably designate some people. I think this is already done in terms of the Ashburn Army. I think they're called the guys in black that they were always going. Not even them. And maybe I was not at the stadium, so they were going and I did not see them. But I just need the vibes in the stadium all around to be bouncing, and that is the ultimate picture that I want to see at the Arsenal. When you come there, you must be afraid to play them from the energy that the crowd gives off, right? So that was it in terms of the fans. But big up the fans, because without us, there is no Arsenal. We are probably the most important part. I say probably, but it's true. The fans are the machine inside the club. They are the main part of the machine. And so shout out to the fans, but we can do better. We can be louder. We can keep singing songs and making the noise, because this helps the team in a big way. In regards to the managerial reaction, let's take a look at that. Arteta, we have to say, on the day came out on top, not just because he came out with the victory, but his tactical performance outdid that of company. And we know how Arteta plays. He wants to keep the ball all the time. He lets the opponent work for it, and Burnley was doing just that. Burnley also likes to play expansive, but I think the fact that they sat back in this game, it played in our hands, and Company gave us praises before the match, and he also gave us praises after the match. There was a little funny part in the Arteta interview where he was being very sarcastic, in my opinion, and saying VAR was very good, the officials were very good, and in giving them praises. But this is just attributing to what happened before, and the contrast in regards to the comments that the ex-players and etc. and the yes men of this industry had. But that was it in regards to the managerial reaction. So With that, it was a good game, good professional performance. Now we go on an international break. International break, I do not like them too much, to be honest. But it probably comes at a good time. Why? They always say when you are winning, you don't want an international break. But I think it is good in that we have injured players that we need. We need to come back in this team. Very important players like Odegaard, like Partey. We know that Timber is not going to be back very quickly. We have Jesus that is out and we need him back. So this international break might be good for us in that sense. And hopefully we can get back some of those players very, very soon. Either when we get back or very soon after the international break. So with that being said, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about the match. And remember to like, subscribe, and share the video so that it can spread far and wide into the footballing universe. And we can garner some more attention to analyze, to discuss what we have seen. Not just with the Arsenal, but around the sport in general. So with that, I'm going to leave you. Blessings to you, blessing to your family. See you next time on Arsenal Football Channel. Walk good.